Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? It's a beautiful day here in Georgia. It's feeling amazing. Spring is in the air. All the pollen is there, but it's glorious. And so as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here as I get everything live. And one more thing. Where are we here? Okay, let me pull this up on my phone and then we'll get started. It's feeling amazing. All right. Beautiful. So excited to be here this morning. And sorry, I'm a couple minutes late, but I was trying to get things situated. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dive into today's affirmation. Hey, Raina, how are you? Good morning. Good morning. Glad to have you here. Am I frozen? Well, I do have a lot of tabs open. Let me close out a couple of tabs and let's see if that takes care of it. You know how it is. I tend to have 1,000 tabs open because I seem to feel like I can't get back to them otherwise, but I know I can. I've pinned some of them. Am I frozen? Am I still frozen? Okay, good. All right. So today's affirmation is, I am open, curious, and willing to learn what I need to grow. Every new lesson brings me closer to who I'm becoming. And and so the thing is that I was on a call yesterday, and one of the things that we were talking about was how much education we had had and these kinds of things. And sometimes what happens as we're learning a lot, we start closing up some because we've learned so much, right? Then we're not open to new ideas and new adventures, new opportunities. And I know that's not you guys, but I just had to get on here and talk about that, because one of the things that is paramount is that we're always coachable. We're always open and curious and willing to learn something new. And how many times, I don't know, I've said this before. Well, have you ever said, well, that's just how I do it? That's the way it's always been done, right? And I know I hear that from people, and I have said that in the past, or maybe there's even the phrase that you might have said, and I know I have said, but it's been a long time, thank goodness. That's just how I am. I used to have a friend that was always late, always late, always. I mean, like an extreme amount of late, right? And when I would talk to them about it, all they would say, well, that's just how I am. But the thing is that if we're open and curious and willing to learn, to grow, we recognize that however we feel like that's just us, we can always change that. We can always decide, I'm a person that's on time. I'm a person that values my time and everybody else's time, and I'm always on time. Now, I say that as I was a couple of minutes late getting on here, right? What is that thing? The pot calling the kettle black? I don't remember what it is. But anyway, I had to mad dash to the restroom, get back, and then I realized I didn't have one thing set up, and there we go. Excuses, right? So that's not who I am. That's who I was this morning, right? And so I'm open to changing whatever is happening in my life, in me, that is not supporting my dreams. And so I invite you with this affirmation to be open, to be curious and willing to learn whatever it is that you need to grow. And that could be, in your business, in your personal life, in your relationships, and whatever, right? Be open. And let's be open to opportunities to see things about ourselves and the world that maybe we haven't even seen before. Because we talk so many times about how our lens of the world creates what we see, right? I did like a little meditation thing that was all about the double slit experiment the other day. And I think I mentioned it on Monday, but I can't remember for sure. But the double slit experiment was where scientists were, they had a particle in this container and they had these little slits in there so they could to see how it reacted to certain things. And in that experiment, they recognized that just the fact that they were looking at it changed what was in the box, that changed how it reacted. So each person could look at it and the response was different. And that just goes to prove that as we are looking at things in our world, they're changing because of our lens of the world. And it's a very profound thing to think about. I mean, I really, really had to dive in deep on that one because that's why when, I've talked about it before, when there are two people in the back seat of a car and they're driving down the road and they're both looking at the same side of the road, yet they're both recognizing and seeing different things because of their lens of the world, right? And we do that in our environment all the time. And when we are not open and curious and willing to learn, the things that are out there that would be there for us, we don't even see. So it's really magical to think about that we can actually do something, right? So this is remind us that growth isn't about knowing it all. It's about being willing to learn. So as we're willing, the opportunities show up for us to learn more, to become the person that we're choosing to be, right? Because every new lesson brings me closer to who I'm becoming. So how does that feel this morning, Raina? Do you see that as an opportunity to get curious and willing to learn? And I know you usually are, because I know you. But there are times that we all fall prey to, I want to stay right where I'm at. I'm comfortable. I've learned all of this, and let me just get this first, right? And so when an opportunity shows up, sometimes it's like, well, no, I can't do that. Very timely. Ooh, well, good. Well, good. I debated this morning on what to talk about. And so the thing is that we have to be able to discern what works for us and what doesn't, because we don't want to just willy-nilly just go. Does that sound Southern or what? Willy-nilly go to everything that pops up, right? Because sometimes things are a distraction. It's great to be uncomfortable. Yes, it is. It is. It means you're growing, right? It means you're becoming, and it's beautiful. And even when it is uncomfortable, it can be so exciting, right? The thing is that we also want to have boundaries. So like if we have a boundary that we're going to keep our focus in a certain area and we're willing to do all these opportunities there, we don't want something to come in and just completely derail us from what we're doing. Maybe we stick a pin in it and say, that sounds really good. Let me stick a pin in that one and I'll come back to it. But being open, curious, and willing to learn doesn't mean that you're just jumping on everything. right? Some things are not for you. They may be opportunities, but they may not be for you. They may be something that gives you busy work instead of actual growth. I guess that's the best way to say it. So one of the tricks is to get to the place where you know what your values are, you know who you are, you know where you choose to go to, what the results are that you want, you know what all of it is, the purpose, right? Oops, that's my Robbie's. I'm not sure I get that one, Raina. But we want to be able to, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So when you can get more clarity on, you know, what your vision is, what your desires are, what your boundaries are, what your life goals are, all of those things, right? Your values. When you've got clarity on that, then everything kind of lines up and you can look at it with a lens that says, oh, this is perfect. It aligns with all of this. This one over here is interesting. That doesn't align with all my values right now. And so that sometimes takes a lot of work to get into the place where you know what all of that parameters are, so that you're valuing your time and your life and your goals in a whole new way. And so if that's something that anybody that's watching or listening that needs help with, I'm more than happy to get on a call and see if I can help you dive into what that is. But it's definitely valuable information, right? All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt and let's see. Let's see. Oh, wait a minute, I'm doing this wrong. Hold on. Hold the phone. All right. Oh, well, I forgot something. Hold on. All right. So our journal prompt is, what am I being invited to learn right now? What is showing up that's asking you to look at it, right? In life, in business, or even within yourself. What am I being invited to learn right now? Because all the things that are showing up are inviting you. Here, take a look at me. Take a look at me. Take a look at me. When you're aligned with your values and your goals and your aspirations and your purpose, when you're aligned with that, it's easier to kind of filter through and say, this one's good for now. This one I'll put for later. But for the journal prompt, I want you to just write down every single thing that you have been having show up in your world or in your thoughts, right? Because a lot of it's nothing that we see out there. It's something that pops into our mind fleetingly a lot of times, but we want to just make sure we write it down and we get a clear view of what you are being invited to learn right now in all these areas. And then once you've written it all down, how can I stay open and curious instead of overwhelmed or afraid? And that's what happens a lot of times. We get so much there that that's asking us to learn that we get overwhelmed. We get afraid of stepping out of our comfort zone. But I know that's not you, because you are already tapping into the place of your values, your goals, your aspirations, your purpose, and you are really aligned with that. And in that case, then you're going to stay open and curious. That way you can just kind of, when you get all the list written up of what's inviting you to learn right now, you can put a line in the middle of the paper, and you can put, these align with what I'm doing now, and these align with where I may possibly go. And then you sort them out and you look and you can pick and choose, right? What might become possible as I lean into this new lesson, right? So as you think about all of this, more possibilities are going to show up, or you'll see them in a new light. Because isn't it kind of fun to think that things are coming to us and saying, please look at me, instead of you out searching for the possibilities? We can magnetically draw them to us by the words that we use, the feelings that we have, and how we open to it. Being open is huge. So anybody that is watching right now and that is here, please say hello. And I understand if you want to stay in the background, and that's perfectly okay. But if you want to join in the conversation, join in the conversation. I would love to hear. And then if you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay and then join in the conversation there as well. Because this, I feel like, maybe it's because it's my baby, but I feel like that this is a really important one, because we want to have opportunities show up, right? We want them, but they want us. And we are magnetically drawing them to us. So I'm going to go back to our affirmation. I am, and remember, anything that comes after the words I am are ultra powerful, because you're claiming that as you. And your subconscious mind starts going, all right, well, obviously that is who they are. Let me find evidence of that. Let me support that in a whole new way. So make sure your I am statements are powerful for you, right? And I've told you before that, you might could challenge yourself for a day or a couple of days, whatever you want to do, that every time you say the words I am, you note it and you write it down, and you start looking at the I am statements that you're using generally during the day, because we say I am so often. And a lot of times we're not even aware of whether it's an empowering statement or disempowering statement. And so by recognizing it and starting to watch, we'll catch it sooner so that we can rephrase it to make it a more powerful statement. So back to the affirmation, I am open, curious, and willing to learn what I need to grow. Every new lesson brings me closer to who I am becoming. Who I am, right? So put that on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it somewhere that today you are reminded to be open, curious, and willing. I'm telling you, it's magical. It's magical. And then we're going to get back to our journal prompt. What am I being invited to learn right now in life, in business, or within myself? And how can I stay open and curious instead of overwhelmed or afraid? So what I want you to do, like I say always, is to get your notebook or your journal out, put the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, say it out loud with feeling, because the feeling actually changes the vibration of the words and the thoughts that you have. When you just say it like it's nothing, then the vibration is low and you're not really getting the benefit from it. So adding feeling to it actually changes the vibration. And everything we do, everything in the world is a vibration. It's a frequency. And so we want to utilize that on purpose, right? So once you've done that, you've set your timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And when you've said it out loud, hit that timer, then just close your eyes and just tap into your breath and just focus on your breath and let the background subconscious mind, let it do its work. You don't have to keep saying the mantra over and over again. You just tap into the silence, because in the silence is where the gold is. That's when you can quiet the chatter in your mind, which is impossible to do completely. So as it pops up, you kind of go back to your breath. But by focusing on your breath and getting into the moment, that's where, like I said, the magic lies, because that's when you can tap into your inner guidance, your subconscious mind, your super conscious, your God voice. When you can tap into that, writing this stuff out is a whole different experience. And you want to tap into as much inner as you can. So that's why we set the timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And I know a lot of times that feels like a long time, but oh my gosh, you're going to spend that for 10 to 15 minutes anyway, right? Why not make it the most productive 10 or 15 minutes that you have? Because getting this information out of your body, your mind, your psyche, you've got so much to work with then. And you can make the changes in your life that you want to make. It can even give you discernment on what those changes are. So as you're doing this, what might become possible as you lean into this lesson here today? What might become possible? Just think about it. Not only what am I being invited to learn right now in life, business, or within myself, how can I stay open and curious instead of overwhelmed or afraid? And what might become possible? What might become possible? Powerful questions get powerful answers. So as you lean in to today's lesson with the affirmation and the journal prompt, and you're open, I cannot wait to hear what shows up for you. So if you would love to have a conversation with me and just talk about it, let's do it. Let's do it. And I know Raina will be talking soon. So I got you. And anybody that's watching or listening, I'm here for you. A conversation is free, and we can discuss it and just see. And most of the time, well, I can say every single time I have a conversation with someone, they get a little shift, they get some movement, even if we don't work together after that. And that's a beautiful thing, because I'm here to help you. And one of the things that I'm kind of toying with right now, I want to get some feedback from you guys, and I'll make a post in the group about this later. But I'm thinking about switching my Monday affirmation and journal prompts to maybe doing it later in the day, or maybe doing it, later in the day is not going to work. But anyway, I may be shifting the time a little bit. I have no idea right now how I'm looking at my calendar to see what I've got up there. But Mondays tend to be really packed, but maybe I'll do it on Wednesday. But anyway, I'm thinking of doing one of my lives during the week as a mini coaching. And so what if everybody, I may put a poll up. I don't know. I know I don't know a lot of stuff about this. It just came to me this morning that it would be maybe helpful, and that we could do a live where it's like this, but then people that want to be coached, I can do some laser coaching, a little mini coaching session. And what that means is that prior to the actual live, you can send me information and apply to be part of the laser coaching. And that's what I'm thinking now. And it may be that as we're on the live and I'm talking and we're doing things, and somebody that wants to be coached would pop in the comments that they would love to ask me a question and get coached. And then they'll pop in and I can invite them on screen. And I don't want everybody on screen the whole time. I just want one at a time, so that I can do some little mini coaching sessions. So that's just what was in my thoughts this morning. So we'll see how that goes. And if that's something that you, as you're watching now on the live or you're watching the replay, if that sounds like something that you would love to see and be part of, then put coach in the comments, and we'll see about making it happen. But like I said, my goal is to go in today and put a poll in the group and just see if I can get the temperature of what people are wanting. And so if that sounds like something you would like, then chime in and we'll make that happen. But I want to remind everyone that what is today? All right, so tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern is our journaling party. And that is in the events section. So if you think you might want to come into the journaling party, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about journaling. We're going to talk about some tips and tricks around journaling. And then I'm going to give you some really cool journaling prompts. And we may even do some journaling live and just with some music and just tap into how amazing journaling can be. And some people, the word journaling kind of puts them off because that sounds so structured, right? But it's nothing more than just getting out a piece of paper and writing down the answer to a question that really, really helps you move the needle of your life. And so maybe it's needle moving questions. I don't know. But anyway, so I would love to have you join if you can. So that, like I said, it's tomorrow, and I already forgot the time, 5 p.m. Eastern. So I look forward to doing that journaling party with you guys. And if you know someone that would benefit from being there, in the events section, the link is in there. You can grab the link, you can share it out, but I would love to have even more people to pop into the journaling party, because journaling is so valuable for us, right? It is. We're going to be moving the needle of our life. All right. So you have an amazing day, and I'm going to post in the description, the comments. Not in the comments, but in the description, I'm going to post the affirmation and the journal prompt with the extra things that I put in there. And so it'll all be in there for you to go back and look at and do your journaling experience and write down your affirmation. I promise you, if you do this, you're going to see the needle move at least just a little bit. And as we know, little bitty changes every single day creates exponential growth. So it doesn't have to be this big leap unless you choose for it to be. You can do something every single day. So it changes your normal to something new every day. And I would love to hear about that. And I will put my calendar link in the comments. So anybody that wants to schedule a call, you're more than welcome to. And I would love to have a conversation. All right. So have an amazing day today. Being open and curious, because it's going to be amazing. Mwah.